Hey there, boils and ghouls. This video will be another entry in our Fleshed Out Friday series. It will be covering another novel while we work through Dracula. Today we will be reviewing one of the most well-known horror authors and his second published novel, Salem's Lot. This is a textualized story about a writer that wants to write a book about the house that haunts his youth. Upon his return to the small town he once called home, he once again encounters the darkness that drew him back, but he may not escape it so easily this time. He quickly encounters the girl of his dreams, but amidst the butterflies and sparks, a disturbance rips the veil of this small town. People begin to go missing, and before the mourners can dry their tears, they encounter things that should be impossible. The terrifying vision of the undead visit them at night. Whether these visitations are seen as a blessing or curse to the townfolk is inconsequential to our writer, but it ignites a stubborn curiosity within him that demands a resolution. So we follow him and his group of colleagues as they dig deeper into this dark mystery. They uncover that the nightmarish presence is resolute in creating an infestation of bloodthirsty vampires within Jerusalem's lot. Former resident and well-known writer Ben Mears takes it upon himself to try to solve the mystery at hand and stop the parasitic vampires from spreading throughout his small hometown. Sounds like a nail-biter of a book, and of course, there were some amazingly written parts, but overall, I was not very enthusiastic while reading through. To be honest, my sense of enjoyment seemed to be more driven by the name of the author than by the substance of the story. I really enjoyed the nuggets of gold the author input, like the scene where the Glick brothers are being pursued through the woods, or the descriptions of Mark Petrie. Speaking of which, that leads me into some of my dislikes of this book. Mark Petrie is by far one of the most memorable and potential-filled characters we encounter. Unfortunately, I was left wanting more of him, and was willing to sacrifice Ben Mears to the starving vampires and watch him be brutally ripped to shreds if it meant I could look into Mark Petrie's determined, yet cold eyes once more. There seemed to be an overemphasis on the insignificant, such as Ben Mears' budding relationship and partner, and the kindles of magic were abandoned on the wayside, left to dwindle away into ashes. Unfortunately, there also seemed to be a lot of filler text in this book, and despite there being a few interesting sections, most of it felt meaningless to the story and the characters we are supposed to care about. Overall, Salem's Lot was a bit of a chore to read through, and I was left in shock that I felt so empty after making my way through the small town. Perhaps I was bitten during that dim evening trip through Maine, which could account for the coldness of my dead heart. Alternatively, the moments of inspiration Stephen King captured created a bitterness that built up through my body as I read through this book. Sadly, that will remain unaddressed because this is not my world to create, but the author immersed us in an environment of genuine love, compassion, ignorance, and fear as the characters moved through their existence. There are actual consequences for Ben Mears and other characters once they realize mistakes have been made, which are seldomly reversible. So, if you can push through this book, you may get to experience the highs and lows of this world as you make your way through Salem's Lot. It most definitely won't be a mistake. Well, that's it. Thank you for listening to my review of Salem's Lot, and please let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree with some of my points? And either way, please let me know why. If you would like to see this review in a textualized format, you can see it on my Goodreads page. Other than that, thanks again for listening.